The love stream is happening. Don't you worry. I love my life. I love my body. I love myself. Yeah. Welcome to your Sacred Sexual Awakening.com. So I've changed rooms since yesterday because it wasn't working. It was too dark. I wanted to be in a nice airy room. So that's where I am. And also the Wi-Fi wasn't so strong. So I'm going to check all of this to make sure it's working. Make sure you're subscribing to Shaft Uddin. To make sure it's working. Make sure you're subscribing to Shaft Uddin. To make sure it's... Okay, it's inceptioning itself. Okay, it's working, but the frame rate is dropping. So that's going to be an issue. I need a solution so you guys could get not just my beautiful late night radio voice, but my face and everything else. So today's episode is going to be short, just because of the freezing of the thing. And today's episode is a little story about people getting possessed at orgies. That's right. The dark side to Tantra. Ooh, people love the dark side to Tantra. There's so many great articles out there that really dramatize Tantra to make you fearful of it. I was going for a little walk with a lovely lady I met in... I got Dinesh Singh. Hi, bro. How's it going? Engagement is happening. Great. I love it. Give me a thumbs up, Dinesh Singh. Send this video to your friends. It's all going to be about Tantra, the dark side to Tantra, the side that no one talks about. The orgies, the possessions, the dark magic. So I got into Tantra for the orgasms and the sex and the vaginas and the making out, but without needing to take drink or drugs or anything like that. Because I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And what I wanted to do was overcome my addiction. And the reason why I was taking all these drugs was purely just to connect with other human beings. I wasn't that confident. And to this day, I'm still working to it. And you can check out yesterday's video and the one about No Mind Festival, where I learned a lot from the children. They are fearless. They are courageous. They just go out, get what they want. I want ice cream. I'm going to hustle that person. I don't care who it is. I don't care how attractive they are. And they just go and get what they want. It's inspiring. The kids are just fearless. So since No Mind, I've tapped into that childlike curiosity. In curiosity and playfulness, fear just cannot exist. And I need to be that person again, to be an everyman. I need to get the fuck out of a Tantra bubble. So I'm not just connecting with Shakti, the sacred sexual priestess goddess, but I want to connect with Josephine, the hairdresser who works at Central Station or whatever. I want to be with you guys, the people of Stockholm, not just Ängsbacka, not just Koh Phangan and Tantra Island or St. Marcos. Like, I need to be in society. But here's the thing about the bubbles. We are working with, like, energies. And a lot of you won't believe in this stuff. But if you think about belief is whatever you believe in. So if you believe in Allah and Shiva and Ganesh and Jesus and things like that, it's true for you. A lot of people in this country of Sweden used to believe in Odin, Yggdrasil, the tree of life and the 9 realms. This was very real for people. They believed in Thor, Odin, and Balder the Beautiful, my favorite deity. But the weird thing about these things is they're all the same, like the Greek gods, the Hindu gods, the Norse gods, the Egyptian gods. They're all the same. They're repackaged. Check out Zeitgeist, great film. And I work with deities. So when I'm working as a yoni masseuse, sacredsexualawakening.com, check out my sessions, you will see that I am embodying Shiva. And for me, Shiva means to be present. Shakti, the divine feminine energy, is to surrender. Love and logic. Left brain, right brain. BDSM, they use the word sub and a dom. In martial arts, there's an attack and a defense. In dance, there is a lead and a follow. It's in every single culture. It is also the most famous spiritual one that you'll see is the yin and yang symbol. I use the word Shiva and Shakti. I mean, I also work in a trans LGBT community, so I can't use any masculine, feminine words, but I use giver and a receiver. But I always tell a story about why I use Shiva and Shakti. When I was a drug addict, I used to take a lot of ketamine, and a blue guy with a top knot used to come into my body, into my visions, into my realm, the K-hole. And what I used to see was this guy who's really buff, blue, top knot, and wearing a tiger print. So I would research into who is this guy, because back then I was not spiritual, hated yoga, and meditation was boring, and it's something that I would not do. And I researched into him, and it turns out he's Shiva. And this was before Tantra. And there was one night where I was at Barcelona Burning Bash. I was very deep into the hedonistic lifestyle of Burning Man, especially the regional burns. I always said, why wait for 1 week in the whole year to be yourself when you could do it every single day? So I went to every single burn on the planet. It's not sustainable, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. But Barcelona Burning Bash, I was slowly letting go of the alcohol. I was becoming more and more sober. And I was still taking drugs because the alcohol was way more dangerous than the drugs, just so you know. There's more deaths on alcohol than drugs, and I'm not promoting drugs, by the way. You're all taking drugs. You're all addicted to something. Scrolling. Porn. If you're watching this, definitely scrolling on YouTube. Social media. Painkillers. Cigarettes. Drinking. Anything. You're trying to connect, and this is why Sacred Sexual Awakening is the way forward. The reason why we're trying to connect so much is because we have the lack of human connection. And when I was connecting to myself through the ketamine at Barcelona Burning Bash, I was dancing like this. I visualize these fists, not promoting drugs, drugs, you know, just do things and figure it out yourself. I work with addicts. I'm telling you a story. So I was using my fists as like momentum, and they turned into these meteors, and I was doing this for 8 hours, and I was dancing like this. Let's hope I don't knock anything over. I may do. And I was like basically and just like turning it into some kind of like movement practice. And this was before I was like a movement specialist. I was just on drugs. And what I did after 8 hours, people would come close to me and they would try and dance with me, copy me. And I would do this for 8 hours. It's non-stop. I was not tired. I was in a state of meditation. I kept on seeing Shiva. And then I saw this. Then I became Shiva, and I sat down and I absorbed all that energy into my heart. And I saw myself as a top-notch god. And all of the millions of deities was going, you did it. You made it to you from your childhood to your adulthood to your godhood. So that's what happened. And it was amazing. And I opened up my eyes and I saw this woman sat opposite me in real life. Then she sat on my lap and then she had this galactic orgasm. This was before any Tantra or anything. We didn't know what we were doing. It was just happening. Because everyone was like, remember, everyone drinks in this reality. And everyone was just very open because they were drunk. And she just felt something and did it. And when people are drunk, they have a bit more confidence and they let go of their chatty mind and just relax a bit more. You know, don't use it all the time because you might become an addict. Like I was. Not anymore. Addiction free. And she had this galactic orgasm and I didn't know what happened, but ever since that day, Shiva kept on coming into my being, sober. Remember, my work is all about being sober, conscious, present. Later on in my life, I discovered that Shiva is the divine masculine energy in the Hindu religions, and is the Mahadev, the god of gods. And I started to become him, started to research about him and look into deities. And whatever you surround yourself in, you become. So if you're going to be watching Walking Dead season 1 to season 8, or however many seasons there are, you're spending a lot of time watching zombie films. Your energy, your conversations, your attention is looking at, YouTube about the next episodes, the theories, and you've invested every single day watching this slowly creeps into your subconscious, then you start dreaming about zombies, so on and so on and so on. This you could do in a positive way if you want to channel deities into your body. So what I did, remember, I worked in advertising, so I'm highly clever around structures, things, research, how to package something complicated and sell it to you guys. The world of advertising basically runs the fabric of belief everywhere. That's why I love advertising. So I did this with Shiva. I wanted to become the embodiment of Shiva. So I researched, I did my YouTube researches, I did my Google image researches, I did my Pinterest researches, and I started to become the energy of Shiva. I watched a lot of cartoons, like every single day when I was working at Fox TV. I was just had the cartoon in the bottom of my screen whilst I was working on TV shows and stuff like that. Eventually, he started to penetrate my dreamscape. He started to penetrate my even when I was taking drugs back then, many years ago, he was coming into my body, possessing me. And what happened was I ended up becoming him. Then I started doing my courses in Tantra and Sacred Sexuality and yoga and meditation, and Shiva was everywhere. Hinduism was everywhere. This religion was super cool. And I'm very much into I was raised on comic books, so Marvel, before it was big, was my Bible, that was my way of living. I always wanted to be a superhero, and these deities were these superheroes. They had the most amazing costumes, and I started to dress like him. It didn't take me long to become a yoni masseuse, a tantric practitioner, and a space holder, because I was channeling him so much. I became the thing I wanted to become, Shiva. This is an important story for the next fucked up story, mainly because it is the foundation to the subconscious, the way we perceive reality. We're only seeing a small fraction of the spectrum of light. Everything is vibration. This thing, everything, like these aren't solid. It's tiny little particles vibrating together. Just check out science things. And once you become tantric, you start to see beyond the physical, beyond the tangible, and there is another dimension you could go into without drugs, without doing anything but by meditating. This is why this shit works, because it's science-based. You drop out of the fuzzy monkey mind, you have a bit of space, your body relaxes, you start to feel more, and then eventually you start to see more. I got into this for the orgasms. I told you this at the beginning. I got into this for sex, love, and intimacy. All I ever wanted was a loving partner. I could hear something. So what I did when I got into this, I had a lot of fun. And in the end, what happened was, as Spider-Man, his uncle once said, with great power comes great responsibility. I did not know that I was dealing with magic, possessions and things like that. I was literally there to have sex, have lots of fun, have lots of orgies, and not kill myself from the addictions I was into. Due to Tantra, I'm fully addiction free, but again, I'm working now with people with sexual trauma, so I do a lot of healing work and hold space for other people. You could check out my viral video that reached almost 17 million people. 10 questions you always wanted to ask a tantric sex guru. I am that guru. That's right, I am a guru. So what happened was, there are dark energies out there. People call them ghosts. There's a lot of people who are possessed by entities. There are a lot of things that cannot be seen, but there's a lot of things that make people go a bit vroom. And remember, whatever you believe in comes true. You could give this energy if you want. I'm a guy that used to think he was a unicorn. That's Thor, by the way. Thank you. One of my dear friends who gave that to me. That's our son. So, in one of the spaces that I go in, there are Tantra bubbles everywhere. I'm a big part of creating those bubbles, and I'm going to be a big part of creating the bubble in Stockholm. That's what I do. I'm a bubble generator. Oh, I'm in the generator. And I'm actually seeing if I'm still online and making sure that this works. Why very slow, bro?
It's working.
Use this as a podcast, just listen to it. It's such a shame that it doesn't work. But I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon. So, the story. We were in the straw bale house in one of the bubbles that I am in. We're at this festival. This is a long story and I'm going to try and make it concise and paint you a picture. One of my lovers, she's a old, wise, elvish woman. She's just turned 55. She looks 30. Tantra works. Longevity. This is why we will live forever. If you figure out how to, do the Tantra stuff. sacredsexualawakening.com, check it out. Or Shaft Uddin. Daily things happening there as well. She wanted an orgy. She has a very high sex drive. She wanted everyone at this Tantra festival, the hot ones, to round up and come into a space and have a juicy time. her little private party, her initiation. I'm like, I just want to be with you, but I'm open to stuff just because I'm just open and pretty chilled. I didn't want the orgy, she wanted the orgy, so I just supported her and followed her. There's a big group of us going to the straw bale house, and we lost 2 of them. We got there, they blindfolded me, I was ready to receive. There's a bunch of beautiful women waiting to give me pleasure. Then I hear a commotion. I'm naked, by the way. A huge commotion. And the door bashes open. And I hear screaming and all these things, and I just ignore it for a bit. And then I see and feel the women around me energetically purging, and I thought, this is encroaching on my time now. I take off my blindfold and I look around and I see a couple of my witches that I was with. By the way, the term sex witches and tantric witches and priestesses and dakinis and dakas and sacred sexual priests is a common language in my reality. Remember, I live in a bubble. We all have the same hobbies and interests, and our language is very similar, but it's also penetrating the world of social media, and it's very common now. The world of Goop by Gwyneth Paltrow is making sure of that, which is basically our practices being commercialized, which is great. I saw my friend, who was a pickup artist and a personal trainer from London. He's a dude who I introduced into this world. He's like a normal guy, like anyone watching this, who still watches porn and like is just got a job and just a normal 9-to-5 person from the Matrix. And he's very attractive, so I was like, hey, come to this Tantra festival. And he doesn't believe in energies or anything like that. He's a pickup artist, for fuck's sake. He's like a personal trainer. He's buff. He's like a dude. He was possessed by an entity. The girl he was with, there's 2 people that vanished on the way to the straw bale house, the orgy my lover was organising. Them 2 were possessed by demons. A demon. And I saw them like having all these seizures and spasms and things like that. There's 2 witches, one dark, one light. These were friends of mine. They were trying to do all this like energy work and get the demon out of the body. I'm a trauma release therapist. For me, it's quite easy to help people to come back into their body, mainly because like the job I do is quite easy. Psychosexual somatic therapy just told me to breathe and look into someone's eyes, and that's how you calm their nervous system. So what I did was I lie there, and I wasn't gonna rush over there. I just surrendered, and I could feel this was happening automatically. I had nothing to do. This was just happening. My body was doing the thing. And by the way, my background is hedonism, parties. I've helped people, after I got out of that scene, I helped people who had overdoses and things like that. So I've been in fucked up situations, and my tantric practices have saved people's lives. I also deal with a lot of people who suffer from grief and suicide and things like that, who have rang me just before wanting to kill themselves, and like, I got a proper job. Just so you know, I'm not just a former unicorn, Sacred Sexual Jedi, amazing superhuman, but I do a lot of work. Again, sacredsexualawakening.com. So my body was doing this, filling up my own body with love. I was in love with myself. I was charging up with the Shiva presence. When it comes to possessions, deities, dark energies, nothing can penetrate you if you are in love with yourself. So you generate love, joy. Like, if you don't believe in it, then it won't happen. That's why I don't believe in karma. I believe in myself, and I believe in my body and its innate ability to heal itself, but it knows what to do. And everyone's got bodies, so you could all do the same stuff. So my body filled up with light. and my body got up, and I was still naked. I went up to one of the women who were possessed, and I looked at her in the eyes, and I said, look at my eyes. And it's basically just simple Tantra. I said, left eye to left eye gaze. And breathe with me. And then her nervous system started to relax. As I was the most present person in the room, as I was the most calm person in the room, and I didn't get sucked into all this, oh my God, there's a demon here, because I didn't believe in it. My mirror neurons, my energy was stronger than anyone else's. So I had the biggest energy in that room. So the person closest to me, the woman possessed, fell into my energetic field. And I willed her into relaxing her nervous system. And the demon left her body, and my witch was like, oh, it's gone, and I could see it. And I went into the other person. And then the woman I was with cleared her, sat her down, she was fine. And then the next person. I basically turned into Captain America in all of this. So and this was all like just happening. So I cleared that person, she was free of the demon. I told the witch to look after her, ground her, make sure she's safe, feed her water. I went over to the next person, did the same thing again, and this was a pickup artist dude. And then he started talking really, I hate myself, I'm such a horrible person, and I could see the entity just fucking him up on the mind level, which creates more fear and is crumbling into a, like he would have had a panic attack, basically. So I went in there and I looked at him in the eyes, did the same thing, did my yoni de-armoring stuff, which is trigger point release, again, all science-based stuff, and I pressed my thing. I could see like tension in his heart, and I just like released that tension. His heart opened up, and he started running around, had all this energy and everything, and he's like, oh my God, this is amazing, I don't know what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And he really didn't know what was happening because he's like a buff guy from London. Super weird, the fact that it was happening to him. This is why, like, if it was happening to hippies and women in my community, they're always getting possessed anyway, so that's not an issue because these are spiritual tantric hippies and they're, believe in energies. But this guy was possessed by a demon. So I released it from him. I started planting positive affirmations. I was like, you are beautiful, you're powerful, you're strong, you don't need all this fear to overtake you. And I just kept on getting him to breathe. I got one of the girls to lay on top of him so to ground his energy so he wouldn't go crazy and run around and lose his mind. And then the entity went into someone else. And what I had to do was basically get her out of her fear mind, tap out the energy of the demon. Then they trapped it in a fucking bottle. This is so weird. Remember, I'm just in it for the orgasms. I just want pleasure, not this weird fucked up shit. And what happened was, I could see my girlfriend, lover, the amazing, powerful, elvish woman. She was having a yoni massage at this time, but I knew what she was doing. She was using her orgasmic energy, and she's channeling. She's like this, because this was chaos, and I was like the Shiva in the chaos. And she's like channeling this galactic orgasm, and I could see this guy giving her a yoni massage, and like really building up the energy. So I ran over there. I put my hand on her heart. She was having this galactic channeled orgasm. It went into my arm, into my heart. I amplified it and shot up like this flare into the room over the straw bale house. And it created a protective force field around us. This is fucked up. There's so many people involved in this. Like, I'm going to I'll tell you what happened in a minute. And then basically the space was sealed. So we all slept there. And I worked back then with a lot of energies of the unicorns. And I brought that energy to protect the place and guard the place so nothing would come back into this space. We were all sober. At the Tantra festivals and the conscious festivals I go to, strictly no drink, no drugs. If you're on anything, you're kicked out. You cannot come to these spaces on anything, not even smoking. Like I said, I'm a fully recovered addict. All this stuff we do has to be sober because everyone's doing it the normal way, which is just getting drunk and connecting. I mean, it's not even real connection. So the next day, there was 12 people. We went into the cafe and I said, look guys, what the fuck happened last night? This is weird and I want to get to the bottom of this. Each one of us told a chronological story. And the story I'm about to tell you is super weird. What happened was, there was a warlock, a dude, running around in the festival, and he was a psychic vampire. He was going around getting all the young girls, all the 20-year-olds, all the 19-year-olds, manipulating them and trying to get these women who identified themselves as witches. Remember, I come from a very different bubble to your bubble. I'm trying to come back into the normal bubble, by the way. And he manipulates them and impregnates them with fear, and he tries to get them into his coven, initiates them through sex. Very dark energy. He makes them believe that he is the only person that could give them what they want. And he was going around selecting, and he was working because he was surrounded by all these women. And I was curious, obviously, because I'm like, this is interesting. I'd love to know what his techniques are and how effective they are. Because it sounds like a lot of hard work, because manipulation is hard work. I work with transparency. Working with fear is a lot of hard work because you have to keep up the lie. I work with transparency and boundaries. Basically, dark magic, light magic. You either inspire people as a role model and you don't have to get anyone to do anything because they'll just go, oh my god, this is amazing and fun, and they'll want to do it anyway. Or you do it the traditional dark way, which is overpower people, tell people how to do everything, and if they can't do anything, you basically cult mentality, dark cult mentality, the occult. So this does exist. Like, trust me, there's a lot of dark energy and light energy. That's why we have, warriors of light. But I'm also well connected to the dark as well. The Mahadev is the creator and the destroyer. Shiva is down there with the ghouls and the ghosts and the entities and the zombies and everything and the dead, as well as making love to the goddesses, walking amongst the heavens. So me as Shiva, I have done both. The word guru means from the darkness to the light, and we have all lived in the darkness, and it's time to come into the light. I cannot be seduced by the darkness just because my past lives, it was just mainly dark, and like I said, it's just too much hard work. So this guy was going around energetically impregnating these women with these demons. I was laughing because whatever you believe in comes it true, and they were giving this guy a lot of feeding it with fear, and I was enjoying it because I could feel their fear, and if I let myself tune into their mirror neurons, it's like someone telling you a ghost story. You would just feel goosebumps. That's what mirror neurons are. And if there's 12 people telling the same story about fear, you're going to pick up on it. Luckily, I was Captain America, and I was the guy that cleared all the demons, and the fucking demon was in a flask. So everyone said their story. 12 people, sober. Each one of them told the story of the day before, and we pieced together a story, which was this warlock was going around collecting these women to join his coven. He saw the girl and my friend, and he went up behind her and he energetically fucked her and put a baby demon inside of her. My friend, his hand touched his penis accidentally. This was clothed and outside. and then he got possessed by this demon. They were completely possessed in the forest, and then people found them, and then eventually they came to my orgy and ruined it for me. And then you know the rest of the story. So that's the chronicle, the story as it happened, and it was 12 people saying the same thing. I found it fascinating because whatever you believe in comes true. We were like, wow, that was fucked up. And we like all hugged, said goodbye. Like, none of us will ever forget that moment because it was the most weirdest, most fucked up thing that has ever happened to me. But then again, I've done a lot of weird fucked up stuff, and a lot more weird fucked up stuff has happened since then. But that's just the job of a healer. And what happened was, I said, hey, where is that flask now? And one person said, I don't have it. The other person said, I thought you had it. And the other person said, I thought you had it. And I was like, hold up. Have you lost the fucking flask with the demon in it? And it was like some kind of slasher movie where this horrible thing has happened and everyone's walking away. And then it cuts to like the flask rolling down and the little kid picks it up and the demon's in it and he opens it. Yeah. So basically it was super weird. Very, very unusual times we live in. And this is just one story out of a million stories about the other world. There's also positive stories, how the energy of Boulder allowed me to come into this, Boulder the Beautiful, Odin's son, you know, one of your gods. He allowed me to come into this country. Whereas all my other friends who was trying to come from Thailand, Israel or wherever, they had a real challenge coming into this country. I was like, boom, in. And also how certain deities of, again, Boulder stopped me from getting arrested by a bunch of officers with guns. They actually set me free. I did do a video on that, which is the very first love stream I did. So I'm going to finish that here as it's not working that well. So you could use this as a podcast. I kind of like this room. I wouldn't mind staying here if the Wi-Fi worked. I am trying to build a collective. We're trying to find a house by the sea, and we want to call it the House of Connection. Or, as I'm so into my Norse mythology, I would like to call it Yggdrasil, the tree of life in Norse mythology. So I will bid you adieu. I will get to my next mission, which is find a device on how to get the Wi-Fi quicker in this room. I don't even know what I'm looking for. And I will look for clothes that work in Sweden. Like I'm going to go for a makeover, and I'm gonna get new clothes. Philip Flo on Instagram gave me a list of shops and gave me a mood board of these are the types of clothes and these are the shops that you want to go to. So that's what I'm doing. In a minute. So thank you so much for showing up. Please do like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And everything I talk about, from channeling deities and how to embody deities and create your own belief system, because whatever you believe in comes true, is on my online course, The School of Self-Love. You can find it in the link below. It's all about purpose, activating your body, and finding that inner peace. And next week, I'm actually releasing my EP on my YouTube channel. The Sacred Sexual Awakening extended play, all the music I've created, which is like guided meditations. So please do subscribe. Check out the links below. Find me on Shaft Uddin at Instagram. I don't really do events that much anymore now, as I've gone online due to COVID-19. I'm doing daily love streams every day. This week is mainly about stories. Next week is going to be about the 10 principles to your sacred sexual awakening, which you can download my book on sacredsexualawakening.com for free. My intention is to start a new book, the second book, What is Tantra? Oh, this is from Dinesh. And what is Muslim mythology? Please explain, bro. Muslim mythology didn't sound as fun as the Norse, Greek, Egyptian, and Hindu ones. So I didn't get into it. I tried to read the Quran and it sounded a bit imposing. I would love to listen to the audiobook. I know that I will get bored. So, my middle name is Islam, by the way. So, the people of Stockholm and Sweden, please do message me. I'd love to know what challenges you're facing right now, and I could talk about it. I am a walking workshop. I'm a tantric encyclopedia when it comes to love, sex, and intimacy. I know how to activate your body for more pleasure. I know how to manifest, create synchronicities in your life. How to find your purpose like that. It all works. These tantric practices work. That's why we do it. So thank you. I love you and I set you free. Have a beautiful day and I shall see you tomorrow for another love stream. Hopefully this